Time. Good morning. My name is Alix Nathan with the Mark Spencer Hotel in Portland, Oregon. And we roast our coffee for our guests to enhance their experience. In addition to having a great night's sleep, we hope they wake up in the morning and feel ready to go, and we want to put a smile on their face. So I was very excited to roast this Rwandan coffee. We found that it was above normal density. We measured that at 750 grams per liter. The moisture, 10.5%, above average size for a bean of that density, and excited to roast it on our Stronghold S7 from Korea. So there are a few variables that I do when I roast on the Stronghold. I keep the bean volume consistent across all my batches. I keep it at 500 grams, even though the capacity goes up to 850. I like 500 because it ensures a uniform bean roast. The charge temp I used, and that I use typically for washed, dense bean like this, is 180 degrees Celsius for the hot air, 170 degrees Celsius on the drum. Celsius is what I use because I often compare profiles with people internationally. The bean agitation method is something I also use, where I have a strategy of ramping up my bean agitation through the roast. As I get to first crack, I like to have the bean agitation at the maximum 10. And that means that I'm exhausting any smoke from the chamber and minimizing potential for roastiness or toasted coffee notes in my batch. When I'm doing a batch brew, I'm also looking at keeping my delta for my first crack to end of the roast between 2 degrees Celsius and 3.5. And that is what I find to be a very sweet spot, literally, for the coffee when I release it. Development time, also for a batch brew, is 1 minute 15 seconds to 1 minute 30 seconds. So those are the variables I kept fixed. Now, this is where the challenge comes in. Hot air, yes, that's a variable to fix, to change. Halogen. Halogen is the trickiest thing to use on this roaster, and one that not many roasters have, and it is one that I've spent a lot of time on. And I'll discuss what I did to land on my ultimate roast involving the halogen. So my first roast was what I typically do, a fast roast. And I use that for cupping. I use that to find out what flavors are in that coffee and what do I find interesting and what do I want to do as I go on. I made this coffee average roast time 8 minutes 30 seconds. 4 minutes to color change, 7 minutes to first crack, 8 minutes 30 seconds approximately to the end of the roast. First crack happens around 170 degrees, 170, color change at 145. The notes I found in this average profile of this faster roast was a lot of the citrus flavors, bursting with juiciness, the grapefruit, the red, orange, cranberry juice, even raisin. Amazingly sweet and juicy, vibrant, but I was not happy with it. At first I thought it was maybe the coffee, but I was not so lucky. It was missing something. It missed a base. There was no chocolate. There was no fudge. All these things I knew the coffee had. I tasted a hint of it, but not enough. So I went the other way. I said, let's roast it to 10 minutes. Bring out the sweetness. Longer dry phase, longer Maillard phase. And now I muted that acidity. I was not happy with that roast either. It didn't have the complexity, no volume in it, if you will. So there's another thing I look for, and that's weight loss. I measure my weight loss in every batch that I do. I found in my first two profiles, the fast one and the long one, that anything with 11.8% weight loss and under hinted of herbaceousness. I was not satisfied. On a 12.2% weight loss or higher, it tasted a little toasty. So I knew my goal was 12% weight loss. I changed the average time, total roast time, 9 minutes 15 seconds, and that's what I landed on. 1 minute 15 seconds to turning point, 4:15 to my color change, extending it a little bit longer, allowing heat to penetrate that dense big bean, and then first crack at 8 minutes, and 9:15 minutes for the end of the roast. My first crack is 170, end of the roast 172.5, perfect. 12% weight loss, perfect. What I did also in the halogen is I dropped that halogen at 160 degrees well before first crack, and this was what made my coffee explode with citrus and flavors in the cup. I tasted chocolate, fudge, sweet potato pie, pumpkin, golden raisin. All of these were sort of my base of my notes. followed by rhubarb cherry syrup, baker spice, grapefruit, blood red orange, lemon, and even some black tea. I know it's a lot of flavor notes, but I cupped it every single day for about 5 days, and it changed. Amazing. I really was impressed by this coffee. It surprised me. All in all, juicy, balanced, sweet, a coffee that I would love to serve my guests every day, and thank you for this opportunity.